Hey everyone, I'm Tafony. Today I'm going to ramble about the Modbap Per4mer, which is a multi-effects Eurorack module from Modbap Modular, and they refer to it as a quad performance effects unit, but it actually has 6 effects in it, and I'll get into that in a second, but it sounds like this. Okay, so the 6 effects in the Per4mer are delay, reverb, glitch, tape stop, and there's a color mode and a compressor, which actually has a sidechain of its own as well. Quick disclaimer, if I didn't say that already, I purchased the Modbap Per4mer new from a local retailer. I have no affiliation with them. This is one of the first 3 modules I bought, I believe. I do see these come up used pretty often for some reason, and I'm always wondering, like, especially with people I know, like, wow, how could you sell your Per4mer? Because I love it, and performance effects, just like the Overseer beside it, are very, very my thing. I love it, and let's go through each of the effects. You have these 4 arcade buttons that you can latch. So let's bring in some of my drum sample. So there's momentary use if you just activate it, or you can latch it by using the shift button, and it'll hold it on for you. So you can do that with all 4. Well, you can't do that with the tape stop. Oh no, you can. I almost wish this worked in that manner all the time. But if you want to do momentary, tap it. If you want to latch it, hold shift, press it. And I like to leave the reverbs on because they sound great. Stereo in, stereo out, tap tempo, and it can also take a clock input. I find myself in this setup, if I'm not multing my clock, it's easier to just tap in the tempo. So there's a tap tempo button, super useful, works great. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're clocked in. So let's go over the delay. So each of these effects has 4 knobs. There's 4 parameters, and usually there's going to be mix in the first one and then 3 parameters for the others. I don't think that's different for any of the others, but let's try that right now. So let's start with the delay. I'm going to latch it by holding shift and then activating it. This is what it sounds like. So first knob is the wet and dry, the mix. So all the way to the left is totally dry. All the way to the right is totally wet. So the second knob is the delay time. And it's got the jump action. So if you CV modulated this, you get some of that crazy action if you want some glitch. Now there is glitch effects and tape stop effects that are probably going to have that covered, but let's go through these. This is that time knob. So like this little slapback action, almost sounds like an octave. And then the second knob is the feedback. So if you crank it, we can get some of those. So it can get crazy. Or we can just have a basic clock delay type of thing. And then The fourth knob is the filter cutoff control, which is kind of interesting thing to have in the delay, but if you mix it in, so you could have a really gritty delay going on in the background, mixed in with dry sound. Or a really bassy one. So yeah, don't use the delay as much as the other 3 effects or the 3 arcade button effects, but yeah, it's there. It's cool to also, if you just do crazy feedbacky stuff. And then put it in momentary mode, if I go. Which you probably saw in the beginning of it, but yeah, that's the delay. And second is the reverb, so I'm going to put in latch mode here. Oops, latch mode, shift function, crank it up. So this is once again the dry wet knob. So let's get it fully wet right now for demonstrating. And the second knob is the reverb time, so how long does it go for? Third is the decay. And again, there's some, I'll get to this in a second, but there's some CV modulation stuff that you can do here to, if you move through this. I think they're pretty good. So, that there's some real craziness to be had in there too. And the last knob is the pre-delay. I like to keep it pretty low. I usually keep this on all the time, so we'll just keep it a little subtle. I like to just end to chain this with a little bit blended in. Just gives it a little bit of space. At least in this case. And then the third effect is the glitch, which is a looper basically, but I'm going to turn off the reverb for now, but a looper basically, but with intentions of like slicing and like doing, you know, some glitchiness, and it sounds like this. So I'll latch it, bring the mix all the way up for this one, or else you get some of that weirdness. So if you've used the data bender, you'll know you gotta kind of go that way. So glitch, first knob, wet and dry as always. Second is the size or the time division, so you can get really small slices or really long loops. And you could use this as a looper too. But what I like to do is do small slices and get some glitchiness going on, so that's like quarter notes is probably what I'm aiming for. And then third knob is the pitch, so you can go up and down 2 octaves, so down 2 octaves. You get some of that nice glitchy artifact and stuff, I like that. Or up. You get some of that kind of like frozen-ish. I do try and go for the more up ones, so we'll set to that. Fourth knob is forward and reverse. So let's get back in. So you can reverse it by bringing it to the left, or play it forward by bringing it to the right. So reverse it. I kind of like reverse, but I'll go back and forth. There's shift functions in that one for the attack and decay, so if you wanted to, and I'm not going to do it because I don't want to mess with my patch too much, but you can have it come in and come out. Give it some attack, give it some decay. But yeah, I like to just have it done, have it activate and be done as soon as I touch it. So if we can go like this. I think that one's sweet. And then the fourth knob is the tape stop, so it sounds something like this. So let's go through the 4 knobs, and I'm just going to have to stop the tape every time we run through it, but it goes like this. So the first knob is dry and wet. I don't know why you would want to blend it, unless you want to just... But I always keep it all the way wet. So stop. And so it stops, for lack of a better term. And the second knob is for the time, so how fast it does it. So if you make it longer to the right, it takes longer to slow down. If you want to end your song that way, that's really cool. To the left, it's really fast. I'll spin to the left. It's like instant. Hold on. I probably like a little. I don't want it to really get like up to like a half note. If you just do quarter notes, at least I can like perform with it. So. And then third knob is the slope. So turn it to the left. It's quick. Turn it to the right. It's less snappy. So I like a little, like I'll set my time using the time knob, which is 2, and then the slope can be long. So, and then the fourth one is the low pass filter. So I like to keep it pretty open, but if you do those really long dragged out ones, it's cool to even do a filter sweep like. Let's make it long. Yeah, like that. So yeah, that's the 4 buttons. Now there is also a compressor. Let's turn that compressor on, and shift compressor cycles the sidechain input. And there's 4 modes of the sidechain input. There's white, which is the audio input as a sidechain source. There's teal, which is the sidechain input as the sidechain source. And purple, which is the clock input as sidechain source. So I believe that's every quarter note then. It will be ducking the compression, which I will not be using. I will just use the white. So the compressor options are... You have to, and this is going to be hard for me with 2 hands, but you need to, or without 2 hands, you need to shift and comp at the same time, and then turn the knobs. So, first knob is makeup gain. I kind of like to slam myself, so we'll just bring it up a little bit. Second knob is the ratio, so how much compression. I like lots of compression. So third one is the attack. I like the compression to kind of jump without sounding like adding its own envelope, too much of it. So I think that's short. Same for the release. And yeah, I mean, you'll probably see here I'm using the Messer compressor for chain stuff, and I'm not going to really use that here, but well, be good to show you there that button combo is how you make those changes. The last one is the color. So there's a lot of ones in here. So you tap it to turn it on, turn it off. When it's off, that blinking light is the tap tempo, but we turn on. So this is purple mode. This is classic, which is like, I guess, like a lo-fi effect. It's cool. I like, you can do if you do hold the color and twist effects knob 1, there's a dry wet mix. I like it to be really cranked. So it's on again. This is the classic mode. This one is lo-fi mode. And I hear like bit crushing in there, I think. Sounds cool. This is saturation. Love saturation. This is like vinyl sim. They call it wax. This is another vinyl sim, wax 2. High pass fix. This and not useful in this case next to the overseer, but like it's cool to have like the DJ style effects. I can like punch that in like. that is the high pass filter. This one is the low pass. And then white is white noise. So you'll see that the white LED isn't blinking now because it's in white noise mode. So yeah, just add some nastiness, I guess. It's kind of, I almost feel like this is my favorite of the 3 vinyl sims, just some grit. Anyway, that is the Modbap Per4mer. One thing, I didn't talk about the patch points very much, I guess, but I'm not using a clock in because I just use the tap. And the sidechain is also awesome. If you have like a battering ram or some kick drum that you can send the sidechain, awesome. But then what I like to do with this is send it gates to affect it. So if I do get some data bendery stuff by sending it these triggers, so the delay's coming on and off. Reverb I probably wouldn't send on and off, but let's get that reverb turned back on. Just some nastiness that way, I think is a really cool thing to do. And delay is probably best for that one. Anyway, there's CV controls over all the 4 knobs as well, which is really cool. You can just send an LFO to do some of that mangling for you, and you can get like really crazy with this thing. So if these motions are to your liking, using LFOs, using CV, can't hook it up in this case at the moment, but you can imagine. Lots of fun to be had. All right, I'm Tafony. That's my Modbap Per4mer. I love it. I love performance effects. I love performance modules. Let's do a little jam to play this out. Thank you. We'll talk soon.